Welcome back, Blamers. Grab your shot of truth with no chaser. You asked and I listened. Mormon Barbie's Ken is what you wanted. Say less. Welcome, Brandon.
What's going on?
Are you so excited?
So excited to be here.
They all wanted to meet you.
I'm sure they did.
Heard so much about you. They want to know about the amazing orgasms, and I think they also want to know how you feel about being outed. Well, let's talk about that. How did you feel? How did you feel that you got outed for cheating? How did you feel about that? You weren't upset?
Not really.
I mean, to be fair, you guys, he was in the room. He does all of the camera stuff. He does the sound. He also does all the editing. Like, he does all the bitch work.
But you asked me beforehand.
I did.
It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a shock.
I did. I asked because it was a very important part of the story. It really was the downfall for me. It was that pivotal moment that I felt as though it couldn't be left out of the story, of the formula.
Yeah. And
because you had asked me, right, if I could just say it and say that it was somebody we knew.
Yeah, I was like, do you have to say it was me? Could it just be somebody else? Like, I prefer that. Nobody likes to be outed. There's such a stigma around those things. And to these people that I've talked to anyway, which is probably a dozen different people, that's a common thing in relationships, unfortunately. It's way more common than people want to admit. And for most people, they keep it quiet because there's a lot of shame and whatever in it, which there is shame and whatever. But also, when you hear about it, it's usually because somebody got divorced. And so then when it happens, you think, well, I need to get divorced because that's what people do. Women think they're weak because they stayed, or whatever the reason is. And it's probably harder to stay together than it is to get divorced.
I agree.
In that situation.
There's a stigma for sure. Correct. As far as the person that is cheated on definitely looks weak if they stay, and they look strong if they walk away.
Yes. And so I think there's a weakness people feel when they stay. That's why they don't want to share.
And if they do stay, then they need to keep it secret.
There was a guy I talked to this weekend who said, look, he wished when that happened, he and the girl he was with had somebody to talk to say, how did you work through it? Because they just didn't know how, so they just broke up because they didn't know how to deal with it. And he specifically wished he was, a lot of times, was still with that person.
Like, do you look at me do you think that I'm weak because I stayed and I worked it out?
No, because like I said, it would have been easier to quit.
It would have been.
It would have been easier for everybody. Both of us just say, bag it, we'll start over.
Yeah.
Would have we been happy in the end?
I would have been a terrible ex-wife.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yes, that's exactly true.
The worst. I think that more people need to be able to work through those things and be more open about it. That's why this podcast is so important to me, because I just feel like people should know that they're not alone in any of this. So today we're going to do a lot of the question and answers. Is ketamine therapy and laughing gas allowed in the church? Because on those reality shows, they're getting the laughing gas when they're having Botox. You guys, I have gotten Botox for a better part of almost 15 years. I have never had laughing gas. It's ridiculous. You've gotten Botox, right?
Botox, never did a thing. I gave it a quick Google search. That's a thing in Utah and Arizona.
Only. And why is that?
Mormon country.
Because?
Okay, so my opinion,
yeah,
Mormons that aren't 100% all in are constantly trying to walk the line. So ketamine therapy is considered medicinal. I have no problem with it, to be clear. I want to do it. I haven't done it. I would love to try it. I think it'd be great. But it's also a street drug. It's not just a medicinal thing. So to a Mormon, they're saying, well, they can get as close to that line as possible and do it in a medical situation and do that drug. Same with laughing gas. I had to because it's medical.
It's a way for Mormons, in my opinion, to be able to do drugs and still be able to pass the temple recommend questions.
Which is dumb. If you want to do drugs, just go do drugs.
Yeah, but then you can't go to the temple. On the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast, are they a good representation of a typical Mormon person? Do you want to answer that? I mean, I feel like the only thing that is typical is their hair extensions and their eyelash extensions and the amount of plastic surgery and Botox and fillers that they have. That's the only accurate representation of a Mormon.
A Utah Mormon.
A Utah Mormon.
They're 100% Utah Mormon.
Yes, they all have long ass hair extensions. Oh, yeah. Right? I had them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's everyone down there does. Are they typical? I would say no. That's not a typical Mormon person. Like a normal Mormon is just a good regular person who typically lives by most of the rules. These women are either Mormons pretending to kind of not be for TV, or they're definitely not Mormons pretending to kind of be Mormons for TV. But either way, they're not typical of anything as far as I know.
So you feel like they're acting for entertainment?
Yes. Yeah. They're acting for entertainment. It's not a typical portrayal. A typical portrayal of a regular Mormon family would be boring and not a TV show. It'd just be a family going to soccer practice, eating dinner. That's typical. They're entertainers. They're entertainers.
Well, it's really difficult too because none of them are wearing anything that covers their shoulders. And you cannot be an active member and have a temple recommend and expose your shoulders. So these girls are also that are on these shows, they have very short
skirts. Low cut necklines.
Like those are almost to your knees, the garments, and you have to have those garments covered. Yeah. So I just look at these women that are on these shows and they're not active. They don't have a temple recommend. There's no way that they could. I mean, and definitely not if it's on television, because we know that there are tons of trolls that run around and turn you in. I got turned in for tons of things because if you are going to go to the gym and you have your workout clothes on, you had better not stop at Target. You better not stop and do any sort of errands and have yourself in a tank top and short shorts, because you will be turned in. And the swinging thing is not allowed.
Yeah, no,
and that's not a normal thing. You would also...
I don't think so.
You would be excommunicated for swinging. Correct. Especially if you had a temple recommend. Correct. If you've gone through the temple, you would be excommunicated. So Correct. These people wouldn't even be Mormon. Legitimate members of the church. Correct?
Yeah. That's my understanding,
Yeah. Mormons and plastic surgery. Is it something that is frowned upon with the church, or is it accepted?
Well, let me be very clear. There's a difference between Mormons and Mormons in Utah. Doesn't Utah have one of the highest plastic surgery rates?
Okay. The second highest next to Miami per capita.
Yeah.
Yes. I always say that Utah is the only place that you can go in the entire United States where you can go to the bathroom and there is salad floating in the toilet. The bulimia rate is so high because they truly do care so much about their image.
Super vain.
Yeah. And I kind of had thought about this, especially when we lived there, and wondered why. And truly, I think that the reason why is because everybody's kind of on the same playing field as far as being righteous, right? You have lots of kids. You're staying at home as a wife. You're staying at home raising your kids. But if you can pop out a kid and you look just as good as you did before you were pregnant within a very short amount of time, people are giving you so much praise. Yeah. So much praise. And it doesn't really matter how righteous you are, but if you look good, you can set yourself apart from everybody else, right?
You must be doing everything right if God's blessed you with that.
Yes.
You must be doing everything right.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, it's all tied together.
But I don't know one of my friends down there from Utah when we lived there. I don't know one that didn't have their boobs done.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, next question. When do you start wearing garments and do you ever stop?
I mean, are we talking about me personally or the church rules?
Yes. You personally, when did you start wearing garments?
when I went on my mission. You go through the temple at some point as an adult with what's called an endowment, and I'm not going to talk about all that here, but you go through the temple and you start wearing garments at that point. Most guys, it's men or women, when you go on a mission, you do it, or before you get married, or if you've gotten older and you're never getting married, you kind of get it by default. But typically before you get married or before you go on a mission, you would start wearing garments is when that begins. And
you're not supposed to ever stop.
Well, there's the
3 S's.
Yeah, what are they?
Yeah, the 3 S's. So it's sex, shower, and swim. Those are the only three times, right?
Yeah.
And sweat. I feel like sweat is also thrown in there. So maybe it's the 4 S's now.
I don't know. Generally, all the time. Under normal circumstances of living life, you should be wearing them at all times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, and I've said this before, is that when you have sex, you take them off, you are supposed to clean up, and then you are supposed to put your garments back on. That's what they tell you in the temple.
Mm-hmm. How often did you do that?
Never. I wasn't a very good Mormon. Wasn't good at it.
Obviously.
I have a really hard time with people tell me what to do.
What?
Yeah. I know. Guilty.
I'm learning this for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I always say that the garments are like a Netflix free trial that never ends, and they just keep coming.
It's like a subscription plan because you have to buy them too, by the way. You have to buy your own.
You have to buy them.
Yeah.
And
they're not expensive, but still.
No, but they're so ugly. So let's be clear. They are cap sleeves on the women. On the men, they're like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then they're like biker shorts that go
just above the knee.
Just above the knee. I was very naughty, and I always had a friend buy them for me that was shorter.
Kind of a skank.
This was before you could buy them online. Once you could buy them online, I could buy the petites. Because the petites were good 4 inches or so.
Well, you'd buy them a little small, so they were tighter and like higher.
Oh, I would buy like a triple extra small.
Yeah.
Triple extra small. Wow. So then they were also like, they were super short.
High and tight.
Yeah. What is the hierarchy in the church?
I assume hierarchy is like leadership. So like it goes from, it's just, the church is run like a corporation.
I think it's basically like multi-level marketing.
Yes.
Right?
That too,
Would you say that?
Yes. Very similar.
Because it's just one on top of another feeding to the next.
You got a local, you got a regional, you got a semi-regional, then it goes to national. I mean, just kind of goes in that order till you get to the top, which is called the president or prophet of the church. And then there's the 12 apostles at the top. So it's like a president and a board.
Okay, so let's start at the top. So we have a prophet who, that was Joseph Smith at the beginning, the very first one. So everybody hears about Joseph Smith. He was a living prophet until he died, and then it kept going. So today there is a prophet. So there's a prophet at the top, and then underneath that is the 12 apostles. And then under that,
I think it's the 70s or presiding bishopric. It's actually run very efficiently as leadership. Super efficient, set up very well.
Except that no women are allowed in those
There are some
areas.
women. There are some women.
Where?
Well, the Relief Society and primary
at the very bottom. So women are only allowed to preside over other women and children.
There's always a man over them.
There is always a man over the women.
Correct.
Women are never allowed to preside over a man.
That's how it is.
100%
I think it's still that
correct.
way today. Yeah,
that is 100% correct.
There is no job in the church where a woman is the final say.
No.
There's always somebody over the top of that.
That's accurate,
correct.
Right?
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah.
So under the stake presidency, though, is then the bishops, which are over the
local
wards.
Leaders.
They're the local leaders.
Like local pastor, you could say.
Right.
Yeah.
So each city would have a certain amount of bishops, because there's a certain amount of however many churches there are. And then there's also different wards within those buildings that are in that church.
Yeah, and that varies.
Yeah, that varies by area.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then what is the expectation of involvement besides just Sundays?
You want to take that one?
Is that funny?
It's hilarious to me.
Why is that so funny?
Because it's every freaking day of the week.
Do you remember me saying after we stopped going to church and I had asked if there was any possibility that we could even go back to church and just go to church on Sunday?
And what did I say?
Absolutely fucking
There's no
not.
way. They want you have to have a job. And it's like, it's one thing to teach something on Sunday, but then it's Wednesdays, like a large portion of the church has meetings multiple times a week. Like your whole week is basically scheduled out for you. And it's not volunteering. You don't really get to volunteer.
Oh no, you're voluntold.
You're voluntold.
And you have multiple jobs.
Typically.
Yes.
Yeah, besides what you're supposed to be doing on your own. It's a lot of time. That was a big problem for us, was the amount of time that was taken from family in, quote, serving in the church. So let's just say what my requirements were when I was in the bishopric. Sundays was typically 6 to 8 hours at church. At church.
Because you would have to go early.
Couple hours before, couple hours after, sometimes more. So anywhere from 5 to 8 hours every Sunday. I think twice a month there was meetings out of town I had to drive to on like a Thursday. So you had to go to those and drive an hour, go to our meeting for a couple hours, an hour back.
Driving out, yeah.
Then there was every Wednesday is all the youth stuff. Yeah. You had to do that every Wednesday.
Every once in a while there was the little kid primary stuff, maybe once a month on a Saturday.
Maybe, I can't remember the frequency.
Or so, and you had to be present for that.
Yeah, I mean, to answer the question, as much time as they can get out of you, the church will take.
Why do you think that is?
Keeps you active. Same as why you go on a mission. Why do they want kids to go on a mission and serve a mission? Well, it keeps you committed.
Next question was, why don't Mormons address any scandals or issues? Well, and maybe they're talking about what happened with us. Is that because I was
from
told
the stuff you said?
That I had to keep it quiet, keep it secret. Could that
maybe be? Yeah, because it's embarrassing, and because that leader didn't want to do anything about it. So then people would be like, why aren't you doing anything about it? It would make him look bad too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Why aren't you as a leader doing what you're supposed to be doing by the quote rule book of the church? Well, because he didn't want further issues.
Further issues like what? What do you mean?
Backlash from members of the church, or backlash in the community, or having the church look bad, PR nightmare. Why are we picking these leaders that are doing these things? Do we not have any revelation? Did God not help us, tell us these people were good people? I mean, that doesn't look good either.
I don't know. Wouldn't it just humanize everyone a little bit better?
I think so.
More though?
People fail. Just admit people fail. We make mistakes.
That should be so helpful too, because you are able to relate to other people that have any sort of struggles and trials.
As far as the counseling you end up doing.
And then also is that, and I have found too, is that when I open up about my personal life to people, people are more comfortable to share what's going on in their personal life, because they feel as though I'm not perfect and I will understand, and I'm not judging them.
You're not going to judge.
100%, because I have been there.
But after you release that first episode and toss me under the bus and let me roll around a little bit.
Toss you under the bus. Come on.
These people I was talking to over the weekend, like they opened up and said, hey, I did this, I did that as well. And it would have been helpful to be able to talk to somebody and kind of know what to do. And these are people I've known for a while. I would have never guessed, never cared. I didn't care that they shared that with me. But it's like, yeah, I was in a relationship and I or the other person cheated and we didn't know what to do. And so in answer to the question, I think it's a shame that people don't talk about it a little more. It shouldn't be glorified, shouldn't be amazing, but there shouldn't be as much shame as there is. Just say, look, I made a mistake. And now you're also putting yourself on the hook a little bit. It creates accountability. Keeping it secret and hiding it doesn't really create a whole lot of accountability. And I think, in religion, you claim you can repent and Jesus will forgive you, right? Well, part of that is to not do it again. Like if you just keep doing it, you weren't really like committed to quitting. So it creates accountability by saying, hey, look, this happened. I'm accountable. Like I am now accountable for my actions at all times. Like I was anyway, I'm accountable to you and to God, but now it's like, well, you're accountable to, however many thousands of people saw that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah.
There really isn't. I honestly think that things should be more talked about.
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed by any mistake that I've made.
Yeah, because we're all aware.
Okay. But because to me, I feel like that makes me who I am today.
Yeah,
correct. I would not change anything that I've gone through because I wouldn't be who I am, and I like who I am.
Yeah.
What traits of Mormons do you like?
You want to go first or me?
No, I got to think about that for a little bit. I need a little bit of time.
Most of the people we dealt with were nice, friendly people. Were we friends? No, not necessarily, but they were good people who were just trying to be good. At the service level, the church does try to emphasize family and things like that. I don't think in practice it ends up that way because of the time they take from you, but most of the people are pretty good people. Same as all aspects of Mormon or not. They're just good people. They're normal, good people. Just trying to live their life. And they wear some weird underwear, but whatever.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we have had a lot of really great people come into our lives that have been Mormon. Barb, for one, she has been a grandma to our kids. She
Phenomenal
has been
human being.
An amazing human being.
Absolutely.
She is married to a non-member, so I also think that helps her be able to be less judgmental.
He's also a phenomenal human being.
He's also a phenomenal human being. She also has 2 out of her 3 kids don't go to church.
And they're all wonderful people.
All wonderful people. But also the one that does go to church is also wonderful.
They're all the same. They're just as equally nice. Yeah.
Equally amazing people.
Yes.
Whether they go to church or not.
Correct.
I think that Barb would be an amazing human whether she was Mormon or not. It just happens to be that I met her at church and she has loved me and you and our kids through everything.
No matter what.
Even though we don't agree on church things, she's still always the most amazing and supportive human being I've ever met. Caffeine versus alcohol.
Oh, gosh. Why is it allowed? Why isn't it allowed?
Yeah. So maybe we need to clear up.
Yeah.
Because that is very confusing,
Yes.
right? As far as caffeine, because like your mom, for instance, does not drink caffeine. She does not.
Never has since, most of my life. Yeah.
I mean, you do remember when we went through the drive-through when we were married very early on, right? And they asked what you would want to drink.
Yeah.
And do you remember her saying,
Remember
who? Yeah, go ahead.
Remember who's paying.
Yes.
And it was lighthearted, a lot of fun, but she didn't want to pay for it. She didn't want to. When we were kids, we didn't have caffeine. It was just, I didn't know you were allowed to drink it till I was probably 13 or 14.
Right.
I just thought it was something you didn't drink. It was just part of life.
And how did you find out it was okay to drink?
Other Mormon kids were drinking it. And I was like, what the heck? And they're like, yeah, it's not like a law. There is the thing called the Word of Wisdom, which is the Mormon health code, right? And that tells you what you can and can't eat as a recommendation. It's become law, but it started as a recommendation.
Law.
It's become law in the church.
It's a law.
So hard no is alcohol, coffee, tea, and tobacco, I think are the hard no's in there. Diet Coke. Yep.
No, seriously, that's like, I think that there is more pop stores in Utah like
dirty
that.
Dr. Peppers and whatnot. Oh, they're everywhere.
Everywhere. What was that called? Like Sodalicious and Swig.
There's multiples of them down there, but they're on every corner.
It is like 64 ounce IV drip.
Oh, yeah.
It is so much caffeine.
It's a lot, and they're not healthy.
No.
Monsters, energy drinks, all the energy drinks, okay, not specifically excluded. But you can't have green tea that's been around for thousands of years and is super healthy. No green tea.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
The next question. I feel like this one is something that is actually close to my heart.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm a woman.
Are you?
Yeah.
Prove it.
I did this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
You did. That's true.
Taking down the patriarchy. Are women oppressed?
You want me to say first? 100% the church is a misogynistic organization run by men. Absolutely 100%. Women are told
if
what?
Equality means equal power, equal voice, equal positions, absolutely not.
That's a hard no.
Absolutely not. Is that something that is in this church?
The famous family proclamation from the church says women should be in the home. Women can be in the home. I mean, it's great. It's best practice if you can have a mom home with their kids when they're young, but most people can't do it, and you shouldn't be forced to. You should have a choice. I want to work. I want to stay at home. That's your choice to do what it is you want to do, and the church outlines it for you. as what you need to do as a woman, which is pretty much stay home with the kids. Now, a lot of Mormon women don't. They work and do their thing, but they're basically breaking the church's recommendation to do that. And you won't get in trouble for it.
But also most of the ones that are, they waited until their kids are all in school.
Most of the people we know.
Right. Yeah. Most of the people that we know that are females that have jobs. When I went to school at BYU, Idaho, I was the only girl that was in my business classes. Once I started getting up into the upper level business classes, I was the only girl
Literally
in there.
Just you and 30 guys. Yeah.
Because all of the girls were all taking that early childhood development or whatever it was to become a teacher. And I remember one of the professors that he made that joke where he's like, well, that's a good strategy to find a husband. Put yourself in a class where you're the only female.
Yeah.
I'm like, what an asshole. I didn't think about it then. Like, I just kind of took it as a joke. You're just in it.
You're like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. And I did think it was a funny joke at the time. But looking back, he was like, you are doing nothing else but raising children. That is your job, to get married and to raise children. Well, and I just think too is that members of the church think that they are able to weigh in on everybody else's decisions of what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's ridiculous. I mean, do you remember when Reese was really young, she wanted to be a doctor since she was in 2nd or 3rd grade. And for the primary leaders or her teachers, whatever that was, to always tell her that maybe she should look into being a nurse instead.
So she'd have time.
Because it would be really hard for her to be able to be a mom and also be a doctor. And so these people that were in the church were talking her out of her dream. Because it says in the family proclamation, which is basically your outline, right? It is your strict outline of how you should be living. And it says in that family proclamation that the wife's job is to nurture and raise her children, and that the husband's job is to provide. And if those roles are to be reversed, the only reason for that is death or disability. That's the only 2 reasons. So for you to go against that is going against the church. Let's also mention the fact that women aren't even allowed to wear pants to church. I mean, I feel like that is a mic drop on its own.
No pants.
They can't wear pants. Like, what era are we living in that women cannot wear pants to church? It's bullshit.
It's disgusting. I don't want to see a woman in pants. It's gross.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I prefer a mini skirt, nice and tight.
I can't with this. Are we happy with the Mormon reality TV show's portrayal? It depends. It's not really accurate.
I don't think it's really accurate. I don't think it's typical of the typical Mormon person.
No. It is entertaining.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think we would be considered probably ex-Mormons at this point. So ex-Mormons, current Mormons, I think would all agree that most of that's not accurate. A person who has no idea about the Mormon church whatsoever probably just sees it as like, that can't be right. It's entertainment.
Well, even like Lisa Barlow, that's on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she owns a tequila brand.
Yeah, that's not typical.
That is not a normal thing, nor is that something that would be... that would be looked down upon for sure.
Maybe.
Right? I honestly think it's great that Lisa Barlow has a vodka company. I think it's awesome. I love it even more that her kid literally is on a mission and it's being paid for by vodka.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
right?
True. Yeah. I mean, Brigham Young had a whiskey distillery. What's the big deal?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's all very odd.
It's really, really hard because it's on all of these reality TV shows, there's actually, I don't think that there's one that's an actual active, in good standing member of the church.
Doesn't appear to be. They all seem to be doing stuff that doesn't make sense to me.
Just by their dress alone, what they're wearing, you would not be in good standing with the church because you are not wearing garments.
Yeah, that alone. Yeah. And don't most of them drink on the show and talk
yeah,
about sleeping around? And
I think a lot of them do. Yeah. But
what I do like about what they're doing is they are trying to change the image of like what a Mormon, whether they're Mormon or not, they're labeled as it, and they're changing what they think the Mormon woman should be.
Well, technically, let's also be clear. You and I are still both Mormon. We haven't been excommunicated.
Not yet.
So even if these people are Mormon, yes, they're technically Mormon, but there's a difference between being a Mormon and being an active member.
Participating member.
Exactly. Yeah. That's in good standing, basically, right? That has a temple recommend, that is a temple...
That actually goes on Sunday and lives the things the church says. Yeah.
Yes.
They actually follow the rules.
I have not seen that on any reality TV show yet.
I don't think so.
No. Okay, so the next question is, what does it mean to be in good standing? Pay your tithing. That's a huge one. You have to pay your tithing. That is 10% of your income.
Got to give the money.
You got to give them their money.
Yeah, they're struggling. The church is struggling. They need that money to keep surviving.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give the basics, like you pay your tithing, you go to church, you don't drink, smoke, do drugs. Like that's the general idea. The rest, we can go through the whole questions, but it's nothing too crazy. But a good upstanding member does all those things, and they're going to church every Sunday. I would say that's kind of what it...
You have to wear your garments.
If you're a temple person, if you've got them, you should be wearing your garments. That's one,
Yeah.
Basically, if you're a member of the church and you're following the rules, which if you're going to be a member of the church, you should follow the rules. If you're going to do it, then do it. That's fine. Then you're considered a active or what was the upstanding member of the church, right? You
have to be holding callings. You can't say no. How many meetings have you been in where you had said that the bishop said if that person comes in and says no one more time, he's going to pull their temple recommend?
That happened. A person had said no to what, I don't even remember what it was.
It was a calling.
He said no. They gave him a different calling. Said no, I can't. Like for whatever reason.
It wasn't for no reason. Honestly,
we're gonna have to pull his temple recommend because he won't commit.
It is a lot of time to be a Mormon. It takes a lot of time away from your family. Like I feel like we have so much more family time now.
100%.
Way more than we did before. And it blows my mind how a church that is all about family sure does take a lot of time away from your family.
Take a lot.
A lot.
There's a big problem
Especially
for us.
like you look at the bishop's kids. That's why they're always the worst kids.
That's what they say.
Yeah. But it's true.
It has been. Yeah.
I mean, the bishop's daughters are always the biggest whores. They are, without a doubt, because the dad is not there. He's not around. He's out serving everybody else. He's worried about
his family
everyone else except for his own family. Do you remember when I was pregnant with London and I sliced my finger?
Yes.
When I sliced it, I had to get multiple stitches. It's actually, my finger is still numb from it. It's very sensitive and numb. But do you remember when I texted you and you were in a meeting at church on Sunday? Because I was doing all the wifely duties and I was cutting potatoes and I sliced my finger and I texted you because I needed to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I didn't really realize how bad it was, to be fair, but also the bishop was like, it's fine, our meeting will be over.
Well, I said, I have to go to the hospital, so
true.
I don't know how bad you thought it was. I said, I need you to take me to the hospital. That was literally the text message.
Yeah, fair enough. So we were in this meeting and I told the bishop and he basically said, you need to wait, this meeting will be over in 30 minutes. And I was also too scared to be like, look, I'm up, I'm gone, like I'm done. I need to leave. And you comply. You comply with what they say. It'll wait. God will provide. She'll be taken care of. Like you're at this meeting doing what you're supposed to do. It'll be fine. And I remember being like, you got to be kidding me. And sat there for a few minutes. And I did end up leaving early, but I sat there for 5 or 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. And was like, well, if I leave, will it be worse if I leave because I'm leaving the meeting, or will it be fine? Like, what am I supposed to do here? No, you're supposed to get up and go help.
Only because I texted you again and I said, if you're not going to come, I need to know because I'm going to drive myself to the hospital.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's correct.
And it's over a 30-minute drive to the hospital.
I gotta go. And then I just got up
down
and left.
A windy river road. And then I was going to have to drive myself to the hospital to get stitches, because you couldn't leave a meeting.
Yeah, and I remember after the fact, we talked, that was kind of a breaking point for us.
It was one of the things that we definitely just threw on the pile, where I was just like, this is so fucked up.
And granted, I should have just got up and left and not said a word, but there's so much shame in like not doing your job and messing up, and God's going to punish you if you don't do the things. Like there's so much in that you just almost are frozen in what you're supposed, like what is a normal reaction, which is get up and go.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you finally get up and go, and we looked back on that afterwards, and we're like, what the hell was that? Like, that's crazy.
What is passing the sacrament? The sacrament is
communion.
Sacrament meaning it's kind of like communion, where you take the bread and the water. We don't do wine because we don't do
no wine.
Yeah, even though, by the way, wine was good enough for Jesus, it's not good enough for the Mormons.
Well, the early members used wine.
Oh,
for quite a long time.
Oh, I love that we're just changing things all the time.
They switched it to water.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Passing the sacrament, so it refers to like communion, like the bread and water. The youth, boys only, between 12 and 16, pass those trays of bread around to everybody in the congregation, and then the water. And then the boys 16 and up, they bless it or pray over the bread to make it magical or whatever. And then the passing the sacrament is those kids that pass the bread and water around to the congregation.
It's basically like Uber Eats with the bread and water, but you don't get to tip the delivery boys.
They don't get paid at all.
And they don't get paid. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's communion. I think everybody else in the world calls it communion.
What's the purpose of garments if you're already allowed to have sex?
So maybe let's just talk about what the garments are for, because they're not really to do about sex, but...
No, they don't have anything to do with sex.
I mean, not really. Maybe because you mentioned you have to put them right back on after sex. That's why that was brought up.
Oh, yeah. That
so
could
basically,
be
they're for my understanding was always, and I was always told they were for two things. One was to remember the covenants or promises you made in the temple, being a member of the church, and then the second one was just general modesty, right?
Basically, because you're not supposed to have your garment show. So I would have to have like a t-shirt. I'd have to have something with sleeves. I couldn't show
the shade shirts. Remember those?
Oh yeah, the shade shirts. They would
undershirts.
They basically had it's like
a super
like
tight
an elastic.
Undershirt. Yeah,
it was like an elastic on the cap sleeve, so it would hold your garments in from falling out.
Yeah.
So you could kind of tuck them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I could have like that teeny tiny little. I could show like this much of my shoulder and just have a little bit of a cap sleeve. And then I would wear those under every tank top, every dress, like tank top dress that I would have. It would look so stupid. Absolutely stupid. I look at all my friends that still wear that and you look terrible. And also you had to wear your garments underneath of your bra.
Oh yeah.
So think about putting a t-shirt on a
loose, thin t-shirt.
Ugh, so ugly. And then you'd have to put a bra over top of your garments. Mm-hmm. So you got a t-shirt on, then you got to put a freaking bra on over top.
But the question was what they're for.
What they're for. They're a reminder of your covenants that you make in the temple, which that's also a lot of weird shit in there.
That's a whole other episode, yeah.
And they have certain markings on them, and those markings are also to remind you of those covenants.
Remind you of the promises you made,
right? And then they are a modesty thing, because if you are wearing clothes that cover your garments, then you are modest, which is so ridiculous.
The way we were taught to teach it when I was a missionary was like Catholic priests wear their uniform on the outside, like their collar and the shirt, and like different churches wear their robes and all that. We were told, well, for Mormons, it's no big deal. It's just we wear it underneath because we don't need the whole world to see. That's how we were taught to explain it.
I also don't love, too, is that it's supposed to be a way that to keep you modest so that men don't look at you with any sort of lust.
Desire and lust, yeah.
I always hated that. And I always thought, like, how is it my responsibility to control the man's thoughts? They should be able to control their own thoughts. I should be able to dress any way I want. If I want to wear a 2-piece instead of a 1-piece, that should be my decision. If a man can't handle it, that's on him. Why are we shaming women, and especially these teenage girls, into saying that if they wear a tank top, they are going to make this boy have impure thoughts?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like saying, yeah, it's not fair.
Okay, next question is, what is bearing your testimony? It is seriously like open mic night.
Open mic night.
But there's no funny jokes.
Not rarely.
Dirty ones.
Very rarely.
No.
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
It's the first Sunday of every month.
First Sunday of every month.
Open mic. Literally, that's it.
It is open mic.
It's
Anybody
open mic.
can go up, and it always starts with, I'd like to bear my testimony. I know this church is true.
Correct.
Every time.
There's a lot of
I hate that. I know this church is true. Like, I also think that is the biggest amount of arrogancy I've ever heard, is that we are the only true church. Everybody else is wrong. We are right. You are wrong. End of story. We are true. Why are we crying?
Yeah.
Why are these grown-ass adults crying about these stories?
And they're not even good.
No.
You're like, that wasn't a thing.
I'm like, why are we moved? I was not moved. I was honestly feeling sorry for you.
Very rarely.
This was embarrassing.
Yeah,
Get your shit together, Jenny. And then at the end, they'd say, and I say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
What is the purpose of a sister in the church? So basically, we all call each other brother and sister.
Yeah, that's what I think they're talking about.
And the reason why is because we are all
family.
We're all family. We all came from Heavenly Father. We have a Heavenly Father and a Heavenly Mother, and all of us are brothers and sisters. You and I are even brother and sister. I was in primary, wherever I was, young women.
Grocery store.
People would say, call me by my last name, say sister so-and-so. And I'd be like, you know what? You can call me Mel.
Yeah.
And they were...
The parents didn't like that.
The parents didn't like it. I'd get phone calls. I'd get messages telling me that they are raising their kids to be respectful and that they would appreciate it if I would not correct them. And I was like, of course, I'm like, listen, I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's always made me feel uncomfortable. Either, It's weird. It is so weird. Also, we're not in the 1800s. I don't know why we're even talking like this. Brother and sister, so-and-so, and this and that. It's weird. I still think it's weird. I don't like it. And I should have been able to choose whether or not you call me by my first name or not.
I hated it when I was a missionary and you have to go by elder. It's elder so-and-so.
I wanted to find a place to hide. If I
either.
saw somebody that I knew was going to call me that, I wanted to hide. I would see them at the grocery store and I would run to a different aisle.
Yeah, it's cringy.
What else besides sports can't you do on Sunday?
Oh, God.
Ooh, what can you not do?
It's a shorter list
can't
what
do
you
anything.
Can do.
Basically anything fun. You cannot have any fun on Sunday. Would that be accurate?
For
nothing
the most,
fun.
Yeah, no, you're not. Nothing I consider fun.
You're not allowed to work out on Sunday.
No boating.
No boating.
No skiing.
Oh, I remember going when I was at BYU Idaho, and we would go on a Sunday. I went with some friends that had a boat, and one of my friends was wakeboarding, and she crashed and she chipped her tooth. Well, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't on a Sunday.
Because you broke the rules.
Absolutely.
Punished.
Isn't that ridiculous? That's
Punished.
You can't go skiing on Sunday. There's no sports whatsoever.
No working.
No working.
Not supposed to work. I mean,
you're not supposed to go shopping. Can't go to the grocery store.
No spending money of any kind.
No. I don't know. I do feel like it would probably be easier to list what you can do. Like, because on Sunday,
church.
you had to stay in your church clothes all day.
When I was a kid, we stayed in our church clothes. That was more like the common. So basically it was go to church.
Your mom still stays in her church clothes all day.
As far as I know, yeah.
What? What do you mean as far as you know? That's 100%.
Well, I haven't been there on a Sunday in a long time, but I assume so.
Yeah.
Go to church. You can read scriptures. You can say your prayers. You could take a nap. You can do those things. You can maybe play some games. And then basically if you want to watch TV or movie, it had to be like church related. I mean, that'd be like the ideal, like perfect Mormon family would do that.
Okay. Yeah. What do you have to do to be excommunicated?
Like abuse or sexual abuse of a child is like a absolute, you're getting excommunicated. Committing adultery is almost a guarantee.
mostly also if you've gone through the temple. That's more serious, right?
I think so.
And it also seems as though it's like if you're in the priesthood, you hold the priesthood, right? You're hold to a different standard.
I don't think you always get excommunicated. You could be disfellowshipped, which means you're not allowed to do anything in the church.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know if adultery, I think, is a little bit loose depending on who and what you are and what your callings are and all those sorts of things.
But then we had a friend that he stopped going to church and then he was living with another Mormon that was also divorced.
And, they had all stopped going to church.
Everybody had, but they were living together in sin.
Yeah.
And he got an excommunication letter, but she did not.
She did not, yeah, because he had a level of priesthood that qualified him to know better, basically. Right. But she's a woman, so they don't know better.
We don't know better.
She's a woman. Yeah, so sexual abuse of a child, adultery. I know if you speak out publicly against the church, actively trying to get people to not be Mormon, that's one.
Yeah.
I've only known a handful of people.
I feel like they probably excommunicate a lot less because they're just losing membership.
Murder is a guaranteed excommunication.
I mean, that seems fair.
Obviously, murder and abuse of a child, those are pretty well absolute.
I feel like those should
100%. Adultery is kind of a gray area. Only people I ever knew that got excommunicated were for adultery.
Yeah.
So.
But some of it's kind of subjective too. It depends on who your bishop is, right? State president, all of that stuff. How does Jesus fit into the Mormon church? Basically, he's the real MVP, really.
Correct.
Except Joseph Smith and all of the other prophets, they keep stealing the show.
They keep stealing the show.
They really do.
And I will say as a longtime member of the church, technically, by definition in the books, Jesus Christ is the center of the church. It's the name of the church. It's the center of the church. In practice, it's not really that way. It's a lot of everything except that in practice.
I had a really hard time that you are not allowed to wear crosses. I know I'm wearing it right now. I wore it today, especially because I used to wear crosses, and when I joined the church, I was told I wasn't allowed to wear them anymore. And I remember thinking that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, Jesus died on a cross. Why can't we wear crosses? Why is that not allowed?
I don't know. I still to this day couldn't answer that.
But you're not allowed to wear a cross. Like, it is not allowed.
There's no crosses in the church. There's nothing hanging with crosses.
So I do understand how people are like, where does Jesus fit in? Because honestly, like, there is no sign of that.
There's a lot of talk about Joseph Smith and other people besides Jesus Christ. Absolutely, in practice, it would be hard. If you walked in on any regular Sunday, it might be hard to determine it was a Christian church or not. So, at certain Sundays, for sure.
So one of the amazing haters that are on Instagram, I love all the haters, and my algorithm loves you even more.
They're the most entertaining.
Seriously, but they cannot understand or accept that the stake president said that you need to get ready and you're in line to be the next bishop.
What are the comments? That's not how it works. We know they don't do that.
Yeah, they're saying the stake president doesn't call the next bishop. That is 100% how that works. The stake president is in charge of the bishopric. He doesn't call the bishopric, but he calls the bishop, and then the bishop is able to call his counselors.
No,
right?
I was called by the stake president to be in the bishopric. Yeah.
He didn't get to select, and then he approves it.
I don't know 100%, but I think the bishop selects, but the stake president approves and makes the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the stake president, to be clear, told you in that meeting that you need to serve, you need to throw yourself more into this bishopric calling, and you, because you had gone through this, you will be a better bishop, and that you need to get ready to be called as the next bishop.
100%. That was said by him as well as the bishop I was serving with.
Next question. What is the role of the women in the church? Officially, it's to nurture, to serve, and to also bring those amazing Jell-O
to serve your husband
and casseroles,
however he asks.
That too. That is actually a thing.
I know. We need to get back to that.
That's 100% to be a what do you call it? A helpmate?
A helpmate.
Women are to be a helpmate to their husband.
You serve your husband as your husband serves God or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the 3 kingdoms? Yeah. So basically it's the 3 levels in heaven.
It's
right?
Mormon heaven. We'll call it Mormon heaven. Yes.
And there are 3 levels,
yes.
right? And then there's also outer darkness. So outer darkness is hell.
Is what they would call hell, yeah.
Let's talk about it basically like hotel rooms.
Oh, yeah.
So there's 3 different levels of hotel rooms. So you're at the top in the celestial kingdom. That is your penthouse suite at the plaza.
Yes.
That's your 4 seasons.
Everything you need.
It has room service. They are coming. They're doing turn down service. Yep. That's the dream.
You are
right?
like unto God.
Yes, and you get to be God. You get to be a God, right? You become a God. Mm-hmm. You get to hang out with God. Mm-hmm. All of those things, yep. right? So then you have the middle one, which is the Celestial Kingdom. Yep. And that one is a little bit more like your Holiday Inn.
Little Oxford
right?
Suites, maybe.
Little Oxford Suites.
Little Hampton.
Yeah. Exactly. Comfort Suites, all of those, like just your average hotel where you still get continental breakfast in the morning.
Nobody's upset.
But you probably don't really get, there's no room service, but you get continental breakfast. Mm-hmm. You still have an elevator.
Yeah. They got some ice cream bars downstairs you can grab.
Yeah. You got a little convenience store. Yeah. It's not too bad, but it's not the 4 seasons.
It's good for a couple nights.
Right. It's not the penthouse.
It's not the penthouse.
But you are just
You're okay.
You're okay.
Yeah.
And then you have the terrestrial kingdom.
Yep.
And that is at the very bottom of heaven. Mm-hmm. Very bottom. That's your days in.
The sleep in.
That is the one that has the stairs. You have the door to the outside.
Yeah, there's no hallway.
There's no hallway. You have that flickering light outside that doesn't quite stay on, the neon light that's only half lit.
The pool's probably a little greener than it should be.
Right, if there's a pool.
If there's a pool.
But yeah, it's probably green or black.
Yeah, black.
Or black.
Yep.
And also, you're wearing your flip-flops in the shower and around everywhere.
Absolutely.
Because it is so gross. You've got stains coming through the ceiling.
But you're not homeless.
Not homeless.
You're not homeless. You have a place to stay.
You're not in outer darkness.
That's right. You're not homeless.
Yeah.
You're not floating around with Satan.
So those are the 3 different degrees of heaven. How difficult is it to leave the church?
Yeah, so I think the hardest part is whatever friends or culture you have built within the church. So like in Utah, Southern Idaho, places like that, it's probably very difficult because you'll have no friends.
Because is that pretty typical that you stop being Mormon and then you lose your friends that are Mormon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typical.
Mormons want to associate with other Mormons mostly.
Well, I feel like it was a little bit easier for me to walk away than a lot of other people, but mostly because when I left, my family came with me. It was me that wanted to leave.
You brought it up first, yeah.
I brought it up and I had said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. Like, I told you what had happened. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And do you remember what you said to me?
I was mentally out years before that.
That's what you said. Yeah. Was that you didn't want me leaving to be because of you.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Like you were just waiting for me to make that decision on my own.
Well, I wasn't going to convince you of it. Like, you are who you are.
So do you feel like it's harder though for you because your family is Mormon, my family's not?
They don't all go to church.
Yeah, because I guess there's six kids.
And 3.
And so only 2 of them.
2 do. Yeah, 2 do and the rest don't.
2 go to church, 4 do not.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
Before it was 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So when you left, you tipped the scales.
I tipped the scale. And then most of my extended family doesn't go to church. They never were big into it anyways. Not huge. There's a few, but so I wouldn't say it was really hard because we lived 1,000 miles from them when we left the church. I would say with like my parents, it's a little more strained of a relationship because they're just so ingrained in the church that that's what they do. Like, that's what they talk about. That's their interest. Like, so I think it's very difficult to not have that.
Absolutely.
And I understand why they feel that way. I absolutely do. Like, it's hard. When you're in the church, you're just church all the time. And when you're not, you open up to anything and everything else.
Right.
And that's a difficult situation communication wise. But I wouldn't say it was hard. No, I mean, not really. Not like, most of our friends were not members of the church at the time anyway. We had so much more free time. Like, I felt just like weight off my shoulder for years of like all the things, you know.
What is the church's stance on gays?
15, 20 years ago when they did the gay marriage in California, Prop whatever it was, the church spent a ton of money to try to get that passed so that they would not legalize gay marriage. Tons of money. Well, in the last 4 or 5 years, even since we've left the church has become way more tolerant of homosexual relationships, gay marriages, all the things, way more tolerant to a point.
I mean, what do you mean by tolerant? Because basically is what they're saying is that it's okay to be gay as long as you don't act on it.
Well, 10 years ago, if you were gay married, you're excommunicated. Today, you're not. Right. You're allowed to go to church and be a member and have certain roles similar to women. You can do womanly stuff.
If you are a gay man, you can hold the same callings, basically. Well, I mean, not in religious society.
I don't know for sure. That varies from location to location.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear from somebody.
Well, also, we were reading in the handbook and the church's stance, right? Yeah. Kind of like to prepare for this question. Yeah. And the church is very ambiguous with it.
Very ambiguous.
And mostly because I think it's a political stance.
And over the last 5 years, that stance has changed wildly. I know it varies from region to region, from country to country. So if there's somebody out there who's somewhere who has a good or bad experience and is still an active Mormon, I would love to hear how that is going. But my point is, 20 years ago, God was against gay marriage, right? The church spent a ton of money, we're against it. Well, now we're tolerant. If God knows everything. Right?
They spent millions of dollars
tens of millions,
fighting that proposition.
And it passed.
Yeah, but they spent a ton of money, and they also put out in that family proclamation that a marriage is between a man and a woman.
And that's still technically their stance.
What was it, 2015, when they came out and they said that if there was a children of a gay couple that were married, that those children could not be baptized until they were 18. Yes. Like normal kids are baptized at 8. And if your parents are homosexual, you could not get baptized until you were 18.
That was a big part of when I was like, I want to be done here.
I remember you had a really hard time with it.
Well, mainly because they made the rule, which I didn't think kids should be punished for their parents, what their parents do. That was ridiculous to me. But that's something that really bothered me, that they reversed it. And it's like, well, if God is in charge, wouldn't he have known 20 years ago that the church today would be more tolerant and allow that? And a lot of the things they're doing now in the step of the right direction, if God is in charge, why didn't he do that 20 years ago?
Did you talk about why, like what these kids did? Like they didn't do anything.
They did nothing.
They did nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't get to choose who their parents were, but they're being punished. They don't get to be baptized at 8 along with everybody else that's in their primary class, because it's a big deal. Like when you're 8, right, they kind of group everyone together.
It's a rite of passage.
But you get baptized, usually it's with multiple other
Correct.
kids.
Yeah.
And so could you imagine that you turned 8 and all these other kids turned 8 and you don't get to be baptized with them because of who your parents chose to marry?
What if your dad murdered somebody? You could still be baptized.
Yeah.
What if your dad molested a child? And abused a child, you could still be baptized.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You're not punished for your parents. And I understand the church reversed it, which is great, but they still did it. And it really bothered me that was a thing that they were doing. I didn't like it at all.
What happens in the temple?
Oh, that's
weird.
That's
weird shit.
Essentially, it's like ceremonies and rituals. Nothing like crazy, nothing like, for the most part, you're not like sacrificing goats and stuff like that, but it's all just weird. It's all just very weird. I mean, I don't know. That's too much to get into. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to where to start. We'd be
I don't know. It's really tough because it's a huge bomb and it's honestly like an entire Netflix series.
100%.
So it would be really hard to cover it. But basically it's baptisms for the dead. There's also like these crazy secret handshakes that we do in there. We go through this veil. You have all these crazy
videos.
it's like a seance when you're standing around in the circle.
A little bit seance.
What do you mean? It is a seance.
Never thought of
You're
a
standing
seance,
around in a freaking circle. You're all wearing, like the women cover their faces with these white veils. You've got your weird, like floppy hat that it's just weird. And you're raising your hands above your head and just like praying over and over with your hands above your head like this. I mean, it is weird.
Yeah, anyways, that's a whole episode. I wouldn't even, you described it very generally, but there's so much there.
No, it's weird. All right, Blamers, truth bombs delivered. Hit like, follow, and drop a comment with who or what you want to hear next. This is Blame It on Mel, and you're the ones calling all the shots.